Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sounds of the Valley, where, usually, I bring you the finest musical talent from the Chippewa Valley area. However, tonight, I wanted to do something that I rarely get to do on my show. Because if there's one thing that I like even more than playing music and listening to music, it's talking about music. So, for tonight's episode, I've decided to bring in some familiar faces to have a discussion about music, our history with it, and what we like about it. We'll get right to it after the intro. Welcome back. I'm here with our first guest of the night. Do you want to introduce yourself for the audience?
Oh, hi, I'm Mia.
Mia, what do you do at TV10?
I'm actually the assistant production director, so I work with Justin. Yay! I'm also on Stream Team, so we do live broadcasts of sporting events for the Eau Claire.
That's cool. In case you don't know who Justin is, you'll see him later this episode. But anyway, Mia, I did want to get you guys onto the show to talk about music mostly. What kind of music do you listen to?
It's a lot of, I guess, older rock, also older pop music, so like ABBA, AC/DC, that sort of stuff, to be honest. Also a lot of the Kinks currently. I don't know why.
Now, is that like what you've listened to today?
Yeah, literally today. I was listening to Fernando, right before I got to the studio.
That's fair. How long do you think that's been like your main taste? Is it
Um,
about as long as you've been listening to music, or did you pick it up more recently?
I guess ABBA my entire life, since I'm named after the musical Mamma Mia because my mom was a theater major, so that's fun.
It was kind of fate for you.
Yeah, it was destiny. It was written in the stars, I guess some could say. Uh, I guess at least classic rock most of my life. My dad was a really big Journey fan, but also I have Disney adults for parents, so I didn't really branch out music-wise into at least older or rock music or any other genres till I left home for that reason because everything was Disney themed, even the music.
I mean, there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, but when your dad owns at least three separate Port New Orleans discs of just jazz music, you slowly learn to hate it.
Fair enough. So, do you think your kind of taste in older rock was that kind of brought on by your parents' influence, or was that mostly you branching out?
I guess me branching out at least to not be listening to as much Disney music, and also just it's what Spotify recommended.
That's fair. Do you kind of like keep track of the music that you listen to? Do you?
No, it's bad. I don't know the names of the artists or the songs I'm listening to. I just add it based upon vibes.
Fair enough. I mean, I get. I mean, everyone kind of listens to it differently, you know. I mean, based on what you just said, I'm assuming you're not really a playlist person, or do you curate your own playlists?
I do create playlists, and I just pick three songs right off the bat, and then add random songs on based on recommendations. So they have weird names for most of the playlists. I have Thursday Morning in the Woods as a playlist for some reason. Then also The Way a Human Squishmallow Made Me Feel. It's
Interesting.
yeah.
Letting the algorithm do the work, though. I mean,
Mhm.
you've had to have found some gold on there doing that.
Yeah.
That's fair. Probably some deep cuts in there, honestly, that you wouldn't get from like asking people.
Maybe I guess I accidentally started listening to I guess folk rock or Barnes country for some reason. For that reason, I don't know.
I
If
mean,
you know the
if you-
song "Sinners," you might know.
maybe. I don't know if I could get it just from the title, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's interesting for sure. Would you say your tastes have changed much in the past few years? Like, did the dad rock? I don't know. How much do you like the label dad rock?
I would say it fits my, I guess, what I listen to. Plus, then, it's 40s or 50s dad rock to 30s dad rock. Because, it's stuff from the 80s all the way up to, the early 2000s for rock music for me. So, yeah, it's mostly dad rock.
That's fair. There, hey, you do get a nice variety in there. Like
Mhm.
with that 80s through 2000s, I mean, you could have, Wilco and Van Halen in the same grouping of dad rock.
Those are both in the same playlist. It's called Bounce House Rumble for
It's called.
me.
Those were two that I just picked off the top of my head. That's.
Yeah, there's also
Both in
Bon
the
Jovi
playlist.
in that playlist as well. So.
I mean, I think it goes hand in hand with Van Halen. Really.
Yeah.
That's like Gen X dad rock. That's kind of what
Yeah.
my dad listened to. Except he was more like Stone Roses, Primal Scream, that
Mm.
kind of area.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I feel like something about dad rock. I feel like there are two different ways that you can interpret it. It's either music by dads or music for dads.
Or it's music for dads who are trying to relive their youth of when they fit or were doing things that would play or like have in the background of dad rock of like, ah, yes, the time I fell off a jet ski. This totally goes with that AC/DC song.
Which could also be by dads.
Mm-hmm.
So no, do you think those playlists have stayed relatively the same since you've made them, or is there stuff that you used to listen to that you don't really anymore?
I guess so. Like I had an Imagine Dragons phase for a while and Fallout Boy, to be honest. It was bad. It was like the only thing on the playlist, and then I realized, oh, I should branch out more because that was what my Spotify Wrapped looked like. It got bad. Then I listened to Blue Oyster Cult, which was great, and I'm technically in the 0.1% highest percentile of listeners in the world for that, according to Spotify.
For Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Um, do you like listen to much live music? Do you go to concerts a lot?
I've actually never been to a live concert. I've attempted to twice. Both times they have been canceled and I got a
Oh.
refund, and I would like to go someday with friends, but like I don't know who I'd go see and who I'd go see it with.
That's fair. It's also it's the issue of conflicting tastes, you know?
Mhm.
You'd have to find dad rock friends to go.
Yes.
And also another part of the struggle is that a lot of these bands don't tour anymore.
I
you
know. It's because they're so old, and I also feel bad because some of them now have existing health conditions. You know?
Right. No, that's the. But no, because you either get the ones who broke up back in like the 80s,
Yep.
or you get the ones who are still going but haven't put out anything memorable since the 80s.
Yeah, or in the fact that some of them are now in their like 60s, and it's like, ah, yes, let's go to a concert with a bunch of 40-year-old white men, and this random teenage girl's gonna be there. I don't think I'm their target demographic, to be honest. I'm not one of the vintage fans, and it's not like I have anyone to go with.
That's fair. I mean, I don't think fake fans are a real thing.
I don't think fake fans are a thing either. It's just not fitting in with the majority of what type of fans that would be at the concert.
That's fair. I do definitely have a certain disdain for the people who go name 5 songs. Oh, you think you're a real fan? What was the name of their second album? I don't know.
Yeah, that's always really
Not
annoying too. Also, because I don't remember names of songs.
That's fair. But no, you'd probably still, recognize stuff that you heard.
Mhm.
So I did want to briefly kind of move away from the listening side and over to the playing side. Do
Mhm.
you happen to play any instruments?
Yes, I play the piano, the French horn, the mellophone, and the trumpet. We're actually both in the trumpet section together in the B&B.
That's true. That was kind of a send up for you.
Yep.
But how long have you been playing?
At least I started in the 4th grade with the viola, so technically I also play that. Then I switched over to the trumpet in the 5th grade and did that all throughout middle school, high school, and now even to college. Like I've even done pep band, jazz band, pit orchestra, and that sort of stuff for fun, and then marching band for the trumpet, and I did French horn and concert band.
Nice. Do you think that your experience playing instruments has made you like listen to music in a different way?
I would say yes, at least I was really bad with rhythm and like counting in general and noticing like background things besides just lyrics in music before playing, and realizing how important that stuff is. Or like I forgot the word tempo. Yeah, of just noticing tempo and making sure I kept myself on time, and it's helped me have an appreciation for music, along with actually helped with rhythm in daily life of just like when you're walking around or working out.
Yeah, no, it's a good skill for sure, and really fun to learn. But I think we're coming to a close on the time that we have for this segment. So I think it's time for the most important question of all. Mia, do you like music?
Yes, I like music.
What a terrific note to end on. I'll see you guys back again after the break with our next guest.
I'm Alex Rubio.
And I'm Marissa Day.
And we're the hosts of Blue Gold News Now. Here at BNN, we're keeping you updated with current news.
And bringing you your campus happenings.
Let's introduce you to our teams.
I'm Eli Bennis.
And I'm David Abel.
And we're sports reporters on BNN Blitz.
We're here to keep you updated on everything Blue Gold Sports.
I'm Abraham Hernandez.
I'm Samantha Burnett.
And we are your reporters.
We're bringing you stories that will affect you.
And keeping you in the loop of what's happening on campus.
We're telling your stories.
And together,
we
are Blue Gold News Now.
I hope you've enjoyed the lovely words from our host over at BNN. But now, we're back for more talking about music. And I'm here with our next guest of the night. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm the production director at TV10. So I'm in charge of making sure everything runs around here, especially these cameras you're watching me on. So yes.
You may also recognize him as the valiant winner of Handful's Survivor.
Yeah, I did that.
And you did that all by yourself.
All by myself. No help needed at all whatsoever.
So yeah, getting into the main kind of bulk of this, discussion, what kind of music do you listen to?
Yeah, right now I'm on a big funk kick, so like I love me some good funk. I'll put on some indie rock here and there, some indie pop. Also still into indie folk, so like I'll pop some of that on every once in a while when I need a little different, but funk has been my drive for the last, I would say, year almost now.
You really do love to see that funk.
Yeah.
Is it more of the classics for you? Do you appreciate some P-Funk, or is it more of new stuff?
I mean, I love P-Funk and I love the classic stuff, but I mean, the new stuff is so good right now that's mainly what I've been into. Like the classics I'll go back and dip my toes into and kind of explore around and see what I can find. I mean, P-Funk, timeless, in terms of funk genre.
That's true.
But like, I mean, you got people like Fearless Flyers doing all instrumental funk. That's absolutely excellent. Lawrence has some good funk tracks that really got me into the genre originally. So it really varies. So from time to time, I'll dip into the classics, but oftentimes I let Spotify curate a playlist of like new stuff that just pops up. So yeah.
For sure. You did mention that you've been listening to funk. Do you think like your tastes come in waves for you? Like, do you kind of fall into a certain groove of listening and then back out?
I would say no. I think I generally, I mean, I've been in funk for the last year. I'm stuck.
Fair.
I'm
That's
stuck
fair.
there right now. I do. Like I originally was like big in growing like in high school, folk, found indie folk, went deep into that, and then kind of went into indie pop as I started getting to college. So like it's definitely changed and kind of flowed that way. But once I've gotten into the funk groove, I don't think I'll ever come out of that personally. It's just too good.
That's fair. You're not going back from that. How would you say you originally got into indie folk? Because that can be quite a genre to break into.
Yeah, there's so much there. It's so dense. I would say I got lucky one day on Spotify that this band called The National Parks popped up. They're a band based out of Utah, and luckily enough, like a month or so later, they were playing at Mile of Music in Appleton.
Oh, nice.
So I took a friend who I got into them, who I was like, this is great music, let's listen to them together. We went up there and just at a tiny little church venue, listened to the national parks, and that kind of was my jumping off point, and it was my first live music too to go see. And we were front row right in front of them, and like it was really
lovely.
cool. Yeah, it was a great experience, and that was kind of my jump into indie folk, because I don't know how I got there genre-wise, because I was kind of in a Fall Out Boy phase right before then, which is a weird hop to jump directly into indie folk. But yeah, that's where it ended up, and I even like sang them for a choir concert one time. So like,
oh, nice. Was that you who brought it up to your choir teacher, or was it like
it was
just a
so
coincidence?
My choir did like this thing called Star Search at the end of the year. It was like the last concert of the year where all the choirs did a thing together, and like you could go out and do solo stuff and win awards. It was really just kind of a popularity contest, as high school choir things happen to go.
Yeah, you get some music out of it though.
But yeah, I got to get up on stage with my merch that I got from the concert, and sing one of their songs solo and just have a fun time. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, had to audition and everything, which was probably the most nerve-wracking part.
Yeah, but you were an expert. You had the national park shirt and everything.
Yeah, I did. I had to wear it to the audition too to be like, I know this band. It's not just a random song that I've learned off rip.
Yeah. So then most of the other genres that you mentioned kind of connect to each other well. They're accessible like to and from each other. Indie folk bleeds into indie pop. How did you get to funk from there, would you say?
This band Lawrence. That's the jump off point. I found them on TikTok. I'm sure you have a good chunk of people probably heard "Don't Lose Sight." It's their big song that got them TikTok famous and went everywhere. And a lot of their stuff, like the Heartburn song, is basically just pure funk, and it's great. But like "Don't Lose Sight's" like very indie rock, indie pop. So like just that dipped my toes in, and then I kind of was like hearing more and more funk throughout my playlist, and I was like, okay, and then it's just been a deep dive ever since.
Got to get into this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it was kind of a similar way for me, except instead of it was more hip hop into funk.
Yeah, I feel like that's a way more reasonable route to take than what I did.
I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable.
No,
I mean, you
no,
mentioned
no.
that Lawrence is kind of a blend of indie rock and funk.
Yeah, they definitely are. They've got a wide variety, and I've kind of fallen out of love with them a little bit. But this new album might be back on track because they're releasing one later this year, and they just teased a track off of it, and it's funky again. So I might be back on board.
Good to hear. I might have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll definitely get you the link for that.
For sure. Do you fall out of love with artists often?
I go through my ebbs and flows.
That's fair.
I mean, I haven't listened to the national parks in 4 years, since freshman year of college, probably. Like their new stuff didn't really sound that great to me personally.
That's fair.
I mean, I went through a 5 Seconds of Summer phase. Haven't listened to them since then. Fall Out Boy. I mean, I hear their songs here and there, but like, haven't listened to them hard since Mania.
Yeah, you kind of go through it in phases. You get really into a certain artist, and then you don't really like throw them away. You just kind of set them down like a record on the shelf.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not.
It might collect dust, but every so often you'll look at it and be like, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not like just being like, oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Like I'll listen to it here and there. Like I mean, national parks I haven't listened to in a while.
Fair.
But I probably should, because it is great music, and I did enjoy that era. So I don't know. Maybe I got to pick that back up after this conversation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll fully take credit for getting you back into that if that works out.
I don't know if you can take the credit for that.
You don't
We'll figure
think
it
so?
out. We'll figure it out.
Okay, yeah, we're not gonna hash this out right now. So do you? Is there any time specifically that you prefer to like put something on? Like, do you like to listen to stuff while you study, while you walk?
Mainly the commute. I mean, I take the bus or bike ride
That's
to
fair.
campus every day because I live downtown. So mainly that time I'll put it on. But I mean, funk music is such good study music.
That's true.
Like it's so perfect. If you don't listen to funk music, try it one time for like study music. It drives, it goes, it keeps you upbeat, keeps your energy high. And we recently curated a 5-hour-long playlist together with a couple other people of just funk music. So
we can get to that in a second. But that commute though, that can be a great way to discover some new music, because I mean you have all this time with idle ears. I mean, there's a reason car radios have existed almost as long as cars have.
Yeah, I mean, I love finding new people and finding new artists that I really get attracted to. I just kind of let Spotify do it for me. I don't go out searching or like let TikTok do it for me. So I have a funk mix on Spotify that's really well curated by Spotify for me, and it just kind of it shuffles every day of like new artists in here to find new stuff. And I mean, I found some like Fearless Flyers I found through that, which is absolutely excellent recommendation. Couch is a great recommendation. Melt is good too. Like just finding artists that fit that genre that I'm in right now and kind of running with it.
Yeah, good recommendations too.
Yeah, I mean, Fearless Flyers. I mean, otherworldly. I'm stuck in them right now.
That's fair. Maybe one day they'll take the national parks. They'll take the national parks route for you. But as for now, you're riding that Fearless Flyers train all night.
Yes, I am on top of Scary Pockets. So
fair enough. If we want to backtrack a little bit, could you tell me more about that funk playlist?
Yeah.
Maybe the audience at home too.
We're spreading the good gospel of funk around here. I mean, it is electric. Evan and I, plus our buddy Shepard, curated a 5-hour playlist of just funk music, modern stuff plus classics. Search Funkaholics Anonymous on Spotify. It should be like the second one that pops up. It's Cap A. Says like, welcome to Funkaholics Anonymous, safe space for all funk enjoyers. Because we all need a safe space, you know.
That's true.
So I'm really on this funk train. I want to get as many people listening to funk as I can because it is good stuff.
Spread the good word.
Exactly.
And there you have it. This was actually secretly an ad the whole time. But with that, Justin, we're going to move on to the most important question of the night. Do you like music?
I don't think so. No, I do. I'm just kidding. I love music.
Good to hear.
It's been a thing since I was a kid, from being called Justin Bieber because I had the Justin Bieber haircut and my name being Justin, to actually liking his music. And then growing up with two sisters who did musical theater, it's kind of always been around me, and I've grown up with it imbued in my blood, essentially. So
it's a long, winding road.
Yeah,
well,
so I'm back to it now.
Yeah. Thanks for sitting down. And as for the rest of you, don't touch that dial, because there'll be another guest up after this next break. Welcome back once again. I hope you've enjoyed the good vibes over this break from the good people at Game Show. As of right now, though, I'm back with our third and final guest of the night. Do you want to introduce yourself to the people at home?
I'm Alex. I'm the host or one of the co-hosts of BNN. Really excited to be on Sounds and talk about some music.
Right, you do. Well, you don't appear on Sounds, but you do help out with Sounds a lot. To peel back the curtain a little bit, Alex has helped with the setup and teardown of almost every Sounds episode that I've done this semester.
No, it's been really fun actually. I enjoyed especially I forget the band's name, but that really big band of like 6 people that you had.
Oh, yes, the What Have Yous.
Yeah, the What Have Yous.
That was our first episode of the semester. Big shout out to Adam K and the rest of the What Have Yous.
No, it's been really fun, like helping it, like to like set up and tear down like all of their gear and everything, because you get to see kind of like all the inner workings of it and what all the cables actually do that like snake around on the ground. So it's been really fun.
Yeah, that's true. It's been good having you on too to help out, because I mean you've seen the kind of spaghetti looking chords that have been on the floor over here. You know, it kind of takes all the help we can get.
I might not know how to wrap them, but I do try to organize them as best as possible.
You've got the spirit though. Yeah, no, it is cool for sure to see the other side of that production, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get some live music along with it.
Oh yeah, exactly. The behind the scenes is great.
Yeah. Do you enjoy live music? Do you go to concerts at all?
Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so I've been to 3 concerts in my life. The first one was Imagine Dragons. The second one was Imagine Dragons. You want to guess what the third one was?
It wasn't George Clinton, was it?
No, it wasn't. You were close. It was Imagine Dragons. Guess that.
Okay.
Guess what, everyone? But no, I do really enjoy live music. There's something about like obviously like cranking the music to the max in the car and like just like bopping to that is something. But like having like being surrounded by people who like enjoy the same music as you and just like hearing the crowd go wild and like the music echoing through the entire stadium is just like it can't be beat.
It's
honestly.
an electric feeling for sure.
It is, yeah.
Even if the artist is Imagine Dragons.
Even if wow. But yeah, see that's why I like going to Imagine Dragons concerts, because I can surround myself with like-minded people.
That's fair. You can find other Imagine Dragons fans.
Yeah, exactly. They are out there. There's a lot of them actually.
Interesting. So, I have heard that you like Imagine Dragons.
Yeah, it's I've talked about it a few times, I feel like.
That's fair. What specifically draws you to them, do you feel like?
I don't actually know. I remember I think it was actually the fact that like when I was really just starting to get into music and starting to realize that it was something that I like was interested in listening to, like like a very long time ago. I was like more just like, you know, watch YouTube videos and stuff like that. When I started getting into music, it was actually like when I was like pretty young, and on the way to and from work, or not to and from work, to and from school, like elementary school, me and my mom would listen to the radio. And a lot of the times, Fall Out Boy and Imagine Dragons were on it. I think it was like 102.1. And they listened to like a lot of pop rock, indie rock, and things like that. And I think it was kind of just by osmosis that I picked it up. And I just started like, I was like, I heard a lot from them, so I kind of just fell in with that music.
You just happened upon Imagine Dragons.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a common. Both of the bands that you mentioned, Imagine Dragons and Fall Out Boy, it's a common thing for people to have phases where they, you know, discover them and pick them up and, you know, obsess over them for a time, and then just kind of discard them again. Do you think there's a reason that hasn't happened to you yet with Imagine Dragons?
I think it's honestly.
What keeps you coming back?
I think it's my friend group. Really, a lot of us do like Imagine Dragons, and I've gone to like concerts with a few friends that have really enjoyed them and their sound, as well as like it does have a very similar sound to like bands like AJR. The Score, it has that like kind of rock sound to it, which I've really always enjoyed. I love some of the older bands like AC/DC, so it has a little bit of the rock, but it also has a little bit of the pop that I've enjoyed from artists like Bruno Mars and even like Halsey, I think it is. But
It might be
like,
Halsey.
yeah, Halsey. I think it's
But-
Halsey. I know other bands. But it combines like that rock and that pop and like kind of punk noise together, and it comes together to something that's really special for me.
That's fair. You got a personal connection with it, and you really can't knock that. Like, music is a deeply subjective, emotional art form.
It's a very personal thing too for a lot of people. I know
It
that
is, for sure.
a few Imagine Dragons have gotten me through, or a few Imagine Dragons songs have gotten me through some tough times. Because I think for me, it's a lot more about the lyrics. They have a lot of good lyrics that sometimes delve into some of the darker aspects of life. And like if you really start listening to it past the drums and the guitar and, you know, Dan Reynolds screaming his head off, you start to hear more of a line, like a through line that ties
You
the
get
entire
the
story together.
meaning out of the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, when the
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons guy says thunder, feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder,
exactly.
thunder. You feel that.
You feel there's something to that, you know. There's something deeper to that, whatever it might be. All right, thunder isn't the best one, but that's a bad example.
Well, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it is a pretty good defense, honestly, because Imagine Dragons is definitely a band get a lot of criticism.
They do.
Some of it I do agree with. I am, on some level, kind of a music snob. So
No, really, you have a show about it.
I wouldn't call this the music snob show. This is just a show about the love of music, which is why we're here right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
No, I wouldn't
And-
consider you a music snob, to be completely honest. I just consider your tastes not Imagine Dragons.
Well, I
which
do
is like a lot of
appreciate
people's
that.
tastes.
I mean, I appreciate the not a music snob part.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't call myself a fan of Imagine Dragons.
No,
but-
you're not a fan of Imagine
But
Dragons.
that's true. That's true. It does take all kinds, though.
It
you
does.
know.
It does.
Is there anything really that you used to listen to that you haven't anymore? Because you mentioned, you know, getting on the Imagine Dragons train, you know, listening to the radio.
Mm.
Is there anything that you've kind of picked up and put down from that, or is it mostly just picked up?
When I was younger, and a lot of people are gonna laugh about this, but I actually do really enjoy like parodies. I really enjoyed like this one's a little old fashioned, but some of the Minecraft parodies that used to be out there.
Classics.
Like hearing Viva La Vida like turned into Fallen Kingdom, great song. Like all four of those songs that tie together like an entire story with like the visual components. Like that got me into watching music videos because I was like, oh wow, these can actually be like really well put together.
That's
But yeah,
true.
I really do still like parodies.
that that is surprisingly something that I definitely do resonate with, because those were also some of the first music videos that I watched.
Yeah. I remember watching it on the way home on the bus and just like cranking it as loud as I could, and everybody just getting so mad at me on the back of the bus. And
Were you
I was
much-
like, I did not care.
Were you much of an epic rap battles of history guy or not really?
No, but I was a Weird Al Yankovic. I really
Oh.
love Weird Al.
Weird
He was
Al.
great.
You do have to appreciate Weird Al. Man's
Yeah.
he's been doing this since the like early '80s.
Yeah, and he's
Managed to
still
be-
going.
Yeah, managed to be one of the most well-respected people in the industry just by being a little goofy guy with a little goofy accordion.
Yeah, and I think that's the best thing about parodies is the fact that it's like you can have some of like your favorite music and then just kind of like reshape it into a new story if you want to, or you
Yeah.
can just mess around.
Yeah,
with it.
and it can make it, kind of accessible for people who aren't super into music, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they might not be super into the whole listening aspect of it, but they like funny things.
Yeah.
People like to laugh.
Yeah,
And
honestly,
then you
yeah.
can connect that, and then that's a way to introduce people to things that they might not have heard before.
Yeah.
Like I listened to Weird Al's Nirvana parody before I listened to Nirvana. I listened to his Devo pastiche before I listened to Devo.
Yeah,
It's a way for people to get into things.
He had a few Prince ones.
He
that
did.
I started listening to, and then I'm like, okay, but then the interesting thing is like, what's the original song sound like, And then you go and listen to that, and you're like, oh, I actually quite like Prince.
And then it's Prince, and because it's Prince, it's amazing.
Indeed.
You gotta love Prince. There's the massive Prince mural in Minneapolis. That's one of my favorite art pieces that I've seen.
Mm.
It pays a great tribute. But yeah, no, it does. Everyone can get into music in different ways, because it's such an emotional, subjective art form.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's like whether you play it, whether you listen to it, whether you enjoy it casually, whether you enjoy it for one of like the major reasons that I enjoy music, which is like in putting it into like scenes. Like I love like pairing music with like scenes.
Yeah.
Like whatever you love music for, it doesn't really matter what your taste is as long as you're enjoying it.
That's kind of a beautiful moral.
Yeah, no, it's music is one of the most beautiful things that I feel like humanity has created, because it's like it tells a story while also inputting instruments and bringing people together. Like in a band, you've got like 4 to 5 people, maybe even 2 to 3, like coming together and playing together. And it's just music is just one of the strongest art forms that humanity has ever created.
Those are weighty words for sure. And this, you might have already answered it for me, but just for consistency, for the most important question of the night, do you like music?
I don't like music. I love music, especially Imagine Dragons.
Amen. Except for the Imagine Dragons part. I'll see you guys once again after the break. Thank you all very much for tuning into this special episode of Sounds of the Valley. I hope you've gotten some good recommendations from it. Make sure to check out our other content at mytv10.uwec.edu or on our YouTube channel at UWEC TV 10. Also, make sure to check out the Funkaholics playlist on Spotify. As always, I've been your host, Evan Claymar. Good night, y'all.